This came out at about 10 to 8 this evening, so it's pretty fresh. I don't have any audio or video for it. It's from the New Zealand Herald. West Auckland school Kelston Intermediate turns to sausage sizzles after struggles with lunch delays. Remember yesterday we played that piece from, they were in the House having debate when Chloe presented the lunches to the leaders of the government. Yeah. And old mate Dave Seymour, Davey boy, Canadian Dave, he gets up and he opens up his papers and he goes, does the Prime Minister know that 100% of the school lunches were delivered on times in all but 2 regions, where 92% were and 95%. So David Seymour, thank you. You're just confirming what we're saying. Some places are not receiving school lunches. It would also be interesting to know, Clint, what numbers we're talking about. Yeah. Because 92% out of 10 schools, it's not too bad. 92% out of 300 schools, 3,000 schools, very different number. Which schools as well? Yeah. Were they the most vulnerable schools? Much more different from the wealthiest schools who may be able to, kind of give a bit more and a bit less back. But let's have a look at this story. Oh, you're going to say something, Clint? Go ahead.
No. It's exactly what I was thinking. He didn't name the regions, and he obscured how many schools were actually, late to get their food and what day was that? How did that compare to normal? It's Well, this is shocking. West Auckland School, and I know Kelston quite well. It's kind of over by New Lynn. It's sort of on your way out. It's a funny area that it's kind of north and west. It's mostly west, but a bit north. Pretty low socioeconomic area. I know lots of people who used to live there. Kind of first home buyers and lower income people live around that area. It's not a wealthy suburb at all. West Auckland's Kelston Intermediate School has resorted to feeding its students Weet-Bix and sausage sizzles amid ongoing issues with the revamped government lunch program. Principal Bert Iosia said teacher aides have also been pulled from classrooms to help sort through the lunches. The Ministry of Education says it understands the, quote, frustration and disappointment, end quote, felt by schools and expects the School Lunch Collective to listen to concerns raised, because that's all that really matters if you're a fucking hungry child, is that the people delivering it have listened. Because if you're a hungry child, problem solved, because as long as they've fucking listened. I want to get to a part of this because it was quite shocking how much they were messing up the deliveries. West Auckland School resorted to sausage sizzles, etc., ongoing issues. Kelston Intermediate School principal told the Herald it had only received school lunches on time on 3 occasions since starting the term on January 30th. So what are we now? We're 2 weeks in. So 30%, 3 out of 10 days maybe, 30% of the time. What's this government about? Hitting targets and KPIs, and that's not very good. He said it's frustrating to say the least. He also said he anticipated some issues in the first couple of days of the program, but after he was told lunches were scheduled to arrive at 3 p.m. and 4 p.m, so he was told that when the school had allocated the drop-off times as 12:45 p.m, he called it nightmarish and no use to anyone. So this government, who wanted to change all of this because of the waste, apparently under Labour, is now creating more waste and food that maybe the pigs don't even want to eat. We've seen the photos. He said it was gut-wrenching when he had to reach out to school community last week and ask parents to provide lunches for their kids, because I just couldn't put lunches on lunches every single day for the kids. The comms were pretty good from the School Lunch Collective, but you could see that they were under the pump. There were assurances that they were going to get lunches, but my gut feeling is that they wouldn't be arriving. We could go on to continue that, but that's pretty much a sum total. So a news story. Remember, the government wanted to do this to save money. They were going to pay less and have better meals. They talked about sandwiches and fruit. They showed pictures of yogurt bottles. We did all these last night on their launch day. Little things of fudge and that sort of thing. And we've seen the slop that they're getting. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the slop is turning up too late for the kids to eat. I mean, they're not eating anything, so that's not good. They're not eating slop. So, this is something. This is the quintessential example of this government. Overpromise, underdeliver. National 2026. Fun. And just like this is kind of what's inevitably going to happen when you go to this monolithic private supplier, because they don't have a relationship with the individual
schools, and if they can keep it at 92% on time, well, the minister said he's happy with that, apparently. So they're not going to lose their contract. And if they're, if some are late, if they're inedible, if they go in the garbage, well, apparently the minister doesn't care. Because actually the minister can't admit there's a problem because he's tied his political fortunes to this. So I feel bad for the workers who are working for Compass on this, because they will be minimum wage workers, not being allocated enough resources and not being allocated the things, because Compass will be making a mint off this, and they know well that they have Seymour by the short and curlies, and they can underdeliver, and he can't say boo about it.
I'm just having a look, because you just said that number 92%, right? So around 1,013 schools in New Zealand participate in the Kia ora ka ako school program, which provides free lunches to students. This represents about 40% of all schools in New Zealand. So if they hit that 92%, that means every day 81 schools aren't getting their food. Yeah. 81. 81. And what's the average size of a school? A couple of hundred? 81 times a couple of hundred?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's if he's happy with that, if he's happy with a 92% outcome, that means he's happy for 81 schools a day not to get those lunches.
And when it was localized, there's no way a local supplier who's supplying one school or two schools could fail them 8% of the time, right? And they're from the community, they're supplying to the community, and they've got the budget to do it, and so it works. And it'll be somehow the stats need or some estimates come out, but you've gone from $8 a pop to feed kids to $3 a pop for how much of it's going to waste now? Half of it. If you actually in this mad effort to save money on feeding kids of all things, when you could have saved money by not giving landlords a tax cut, instead you're just throwing money in the rubbish. It's crazy.
Can we please do this? If you're watching us for the first time, this is the part to clip and send off to other people. If David Seymour is happy with a 92% outcome for school lunches on time, over 1,000 schools are receiving lunches. That's 80 schools. The average size, according to available data of a primary school in New Zealand, is 275 students. That means he's happy with 22,275 students not receiving lunches on any individual day. 81 schools times 275. Look, even, to be honest, it says 40% of schools. Let's say half of the students get the lunches. 11,000 students a day. So he's finding it to be a good outcome if 10 to 12,000 kids a day aren't getting school lunches. That's David Seymour's policy.
And that's assuming that the food that does show up on time is edible.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit grumpy now, Clint. That was supposed to be a little kind of side conversation. It kind of went somewhere else, didn't it?
But it speaks to values, right? Like, of all the things that you would seek to scrimp and save on, it's not tax cuts for landlords. It's not new planes for the Prime Minister. It's lunches for kids.
Yeah. What about some tax breaks for tobacco companies? Because they've got a bunch of whatever that liquid bloody stuff that they want to get out and to be, they're giving money back they are literally putting money in the pockets of tobacco companies. They're literally doing that because they're paying less tax. So this government is literally putting money in the pockets of tobacco companies and taking food out of the fucking mouths of children. That's what this government's about.
Sorry, one more thing, because it was mentioned there in the article, but we should draw attention to it. It mentioned that teachers' assistants, TAs, are being taken out of class to administer the food once they arrive. That's a huge hidden cost that schools in the program are now bearing that previously they didn't have to, because that was taken care of. That was part of the $8 per per serving was that the distribution, the heating, all that. Now they, arrive in a big box, maybe on time, maybe not, maybe in edible condition, maybe not, and have to be heated, prepped, sorted on site by the school, and the school's not funded for that. So that's coming out of the money that the schools are meant to be using for educating the kids.